What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 81 and 82 combined for my road to 700 pounds on bench press. This week was a marvelous week, and actually this is combined. So last week was a deload week, so nothing exciting there. So I went ahead and threw that together so you guys could see what I do during a deload. But I am most excited about this last week and how this last week went. We are getting very, very close to the meet. The meet is going to be July 25th. It's going to be right here in Houston, Texas. If you guys don't already know, I'll put everything down in the description if you guys want to follow along. I'm not sure about a live stream, but definitely getting very, very close. Right now, we are sitting just a little bit of more than 5 weeks out, which leaves plenty of time to ramp training up nicely. As you will see in this last recap, we are definitely doing that, and things are feeling very, very good. Definitely coming out of the quarantine and not being able to train very heavy for a while, it actually gave my body a chance to kind of recover any kind of nagging little injuries or little pains and things like that, which I don't have a lot of, but sometimes you don't feel them, and it's best to take care of them during that time, and you basically will feel a lot better going forward. But before I jump into anything, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely welcome. My name is James Strickland, going for a raw 700-pound bench press. I have been going at this for about 2 years now. Nobody said it would be easy, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm sharing my training recaps with you guys every single week. For those who are returning, welcome back. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys that have subscribed and stuck with me on this journey. It's definitely had its ups and downs. Very, very exciting. But if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit notifications on, and definitely let me know what you think about this. But I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the recap because I got 2 of them this week, and we'll go ahead and get you guys on your way. So, first week is a deload week. Like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too exciting, but definitely want to show you guys what I do. This is at my home gym. We're working up to a top set of the day. It's just going to be 405 pounds for 3 sets of 3. So my last warm up here with 315, doing 1, basically kind of a paused quick rep, and then 3 real short quick reps, maybe not fully locked out, just to kind of get the CNS primed. First set here, and I tell you, I don't feel like I really needed a deload this week, but I like to take a deload every 4th week as a precaution because you never know when you'll need it. And actually, when I started doing these reps, they felt heavy. It's just, they don't look heavy, which is a good thing. But my body, I don't take a pre-workout. I don't get really amped up for these workouts. So I don't want to say I don't bring the pain, because that is a bad way to look at it. But mentally, it's hard to be in the same mind frame to go and do 3 sets of 3 with 405 when you just did 585 and 555 for sets of 3 the week prior. So, just with that said, I basically just want to get my head in the right zone, put some music on, and just get the workout done. Get in and get out as quickly as possible so I can get on with the rest week. Did some heavy lat pull downs here. I don't have the range of motion on this, and actually you'll see kind of how I do things here in a minute. But this is more of just a primer, if you will, and really just kind of working with what I have at the home gym. I'm not sure why I didn't figure this out with previous weeks, but I'm not always the smartest cookie. But went ahead and just made my own little seat here. Somebody actually commented on Instagram that this is the most expensive seat that they've ever seen, so pretty funny. But it definitely gives me a little bit more range of motion here with the close grip and that kind of a neutral grip, a lat pull down here. Really just kind of getting the back attacked. This is pretty heavy, but I wouldn't say it's definitely not the heaviest I've ever gone, for sure. But I definitely trying to keep the back in the mix because the back really does heal quite fast. And really I want to rest up the actual bench press movement this week because we are going to be, as you'll see, ramping up really, really heavy and going really, really quick and dirty to 700. So just wanted to make sure that you guys see the deload weeks, know that I do stress taking a deload at least once periodically in your training. I advocate it at least every 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of the guys that I train, it is in their program minimum every 4 weeks. And even in my bench press programs and my full power programs that I have on my website, I actually put a deload in there. Now, some guys choose to not take it, and that's really up to them and at their discretion, but it really does help to have a deload pre-programmed in before you think you need it, because well, like I said earlier in the video, there's a lot of things that could be going on that your adrenaline doesn't show during a workout, or you just don't even really think that it's a problem until it's a serious problem. You could have a light strain and it becomes something a little more serious at a workout with some heavy weight on, and you might have been able to heal up during that deload week just enough to make things right. So I definitely, when I'm going through my deload, I am very conscientious about how I feel, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and making sure I'm still eating and getting calories in and getting a lot of rest and recovery in, and taking advantage of the lower weights for this particular week, because the next 3 weeks I want to go as hard as I can, and I want to be able to do it without worrying that I'm going to be potentially injuring myself because I didn't take the proper rest. And so this is really what it is. So day 2, I've got my shoulders and uppers, just doing some heavy bands in place of my rear delts. This is actually a really good substitute for rear delt flies, because these bands, these are actually pretty heavy, considering once I get them to full extension, I'm getting a really, really heavy stretch, and they really do light up those rear delts quite a bit. Making sure they're even here. Just don't want to have anything uneven just because the bands, the fact that they're not on a cable system. I'm not sure what the actual weight is. But these are done real quick, just basically firing off and helping with the tendons. They're really great for blood flow. Any type of band work is good for blood flow. Got my T3 raises here. Really just making sure I'm set, slipping around here. These are lightening up the shoulders quite a bit. Nothing heavy. Can definitely do a lot more weight than this, but my T3 raises, it can put your shoulder in a compromising position, especially because you're rotating with a lot of weight. I don't recommend doing these to failure or to max reps, just because that rotator is very sensitive, and it's not a pressing movement. It's definitely a rotating movement, so you want to be careful with those, but done the right way, done light, it can definitely help get those shoulders firing. Going to do some Larson press here with 275. The weight is light enough that I figured I'd have a little fun with it, work on my balance a little bit, take the legs out of the equation. This is a board press, so really just kind of working on getting the volume in, and really this is taking the place of my secondary bench day on a heavy week, is just getting more volume in. So I'm just keeping myself active during this week. Then I got some push downs here to fire off those tricep tendons and just keep everything healthy with the elbows, which is a really, really good therapeutic exercise. I can't stress bands enough. I want to say this carefully, you can definitely overdo anything, but as long as the bands are, let's say, like the ones that I'm using, and they're not the big purple or green ones or the big Rogue bands, you really can't go wrong with doing some daily band pull-aparts, tricep pull-aparts. You guys, if you've seen my shoulder warm-up routine, if you haven't, just search for it on YouTube on my channel. It's benching heavy without shoulder injury, and it shows my whole warm-up procedure. And I utilize bands every day. So definitely something to, not just with weight, but just by themselves. But let's go ahead and jump into the more exciting week. I know deloads aren't the most exciting thing in the world, but I tell you, the exciting weeks are there because I've taken the precautions and taken the preliminary deload weeks. And if I didn't take those, I would never be as successful as I am in the weight room with powerlifting, with strength, or anything, unless I did the little stuff that's a lot of people don't think is very glamorous. They don't get a lot of posts on Instagram and a lot of likes and views on it. I can't post up that, hey, I did 405 for 3x3 on YouTube and it get 1 million hits. But post a 600-pound bench, everybody wants to see it. But you don't get that type of bench unless you're doing those type of smaller workouts to lead up to the bigger ones. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let me pull up the week 82 recap. All right, so my day one, heavy as always. I am at Legacy Barbell in Spring, Texas. Last warm up here, and you can just see the confidence with the 315 here. I brought the pain today. I am ready. I'm excited. I was excited on the way to the gym, in the car driving over. I was listening to some motivational stuff. I was listening to some rock, some rap. I mean, I'm just really getting in the zone. And knowing that I'm coming in today to just really, really bring it. 405, flying up faster than ever. Basically, I'm treating all these workouts like I've got to put this weight up just as fast, if not faster, than what meet day is going to look like. 495 flying up. So this is my last warm up here. I've got a team around me. Tyler over here, who's another power lifter in the Houston area, help lift off for me. 585 on the bar. Boom. CNS is on fire right now. We are ready to go. So I went into today. The set called for 605 for a double. I actually had it in my mind that if the triple was there, I was going to take it because why not get a PR? We're far enough out that it would really set the tone, a confidence builder. But if it didn't happen, it's really not that big of a deal because PRs for reps is not the goal right now. 605, flies up, boom, going for another rep here. I actually hit a little high and the spotter grabbed it. I wouldn't say he grabbed it early. I think he was smart enough to grab it. I went ahead and said, let's go for a third. And I was kind of gassed out, to tell you the truth. But confidence is an all-time high. I knew that I hit high. I took about 8 minutes rest. I said, let's go for it again. And instead of going for 3, we're just going to hit the double and call it a day. That's what's on the program. Let's stick with that. I definitely feel like the strength for 1 reps are definitely in the mid sixes right now, which is definitely good. I don't need to be hitting higher 6s until closer to the meet, and that's okay. Plus, we just got out of the 5s. I mean, this is the first week hitting 600 in about 6 or 7, actually 8 weeks. So this is a CNS kind of wake me up. 605 here. I knew this was going down, no big deal. Boom. First one, I got a little stuck there, didn't grab the bar, and I went ahead and said, you know what, we're going for another one. And the second one was smoother than the first. So that tells me right there, the strength is there. Definitely trying to get the feel for the heavier weight, and that's fine. Now, I'm not sure what happened. I was supposed to actually do back downs with 515, 3x3. And as soon as I jumped up, and I'm resting off after that 605, I felt something in the pec, just didn't feel right. And I went ahead and grabbed somebody to spot me out on 315 just to see how it felt, just as a precaution. I didn't like how it felt. So I went ahead and called all bench reps for the day. And I don't feel that it's anything serious. I will actually go into it a little bit later. I'll warn you guys ahead of time. It's nothing serious. We are going to be fine. But I did not know this at the time, so I went ahead and shut down all pressing accessories. I really took a calculated risk here with the flies. You can see that I'm being very cautious here. I started off with 55s just to see if it's pulling, if it's too tight, it's that left pec. So I don't see anything on video here, and I actually studied this after doing the actual set. But the whole time I'm thinking, okay, if it's something serious, I need to address this right now. But at the same time, I need to be smart about things and see if it's just in my head. Is it something that's strained? So as I go through the workout, that's what I'm thinking about. But so far so good. Nothing seems to be too sore, but it doesn't feel right. I did go ahead and go up to 75s here. I really would have liked to hit the hundreds today, and actually I did pull them out after this set, and then I sat there, kind of looked at them, and I went, I think that's enough pec work for the day. No more direct pec work, just because it's not the end of the world if I can't do it, and it's the risk versus reward. It just isn't there. So this is a prime example of me telling you guys, when you feel something off, it's probably best to go ahead and shut it down. I did want to see how the weighted dips felt, and you can see here I just didn't get the range of motion that I normally do. That just didn't feel right, but it did tell me that nothing serious was going on in the pec. So that's a good thing. That's the one thing that scares the hell out of me. Working on some lat pull downs here. I've got a little bit different setup, so the weights are a little different than you guys are probably used to seeing on some of the different pulley systems that I have. Started off, which is kind of a warm-up set, if you will, testing the waters with 225. Feel really good. Didn't feel anything in the pec, obviously. And going on, adding some weight, 45 pound here. And then on the last one, you'll see I actually put some dumbbells on it just to get the weight that I needed to get that was prescribed for the day. But definitely working on the back. Big back definitely equals big bench. Or maybe I should say strong back equals a strong base for bench. But it definitely has a huge carryover. But definitely keeping the calories up. A lot of you guys ask me how much I typically eat in a day. I don't count calories. I don't do macros, anything like that. I literally just go off of my regimen that I typically do, which is 3 major meals a day. I definitely eat breakfast, I eat a big lunch, and I eat a big dinner, and I eat snacks whenever I'm hungry in between. And I just don't count all the calories that are going on in there. So that with plenty of water. I do drink sodas, I do drink juices, but I balance a lot of that out with probably a gallon of water a day, maybe more. And it's really just based on if I'm thirsty, I drink. And so I don't really count or really maintain any of that stuff. I just go off of how my body's performing, and if it's performing optimally and I don't look like crap in the gym, then I'm kind of happy with that. Not that I'm opposed to having a little bit of extra body fat on me for strength, but I don't think an excess is going to do me any good. These are my tricep paused extensions, and these were giving my elbows just a little bit of trouble. So I only did 1 set of these, and I went on and did a bunch of tricep rope, which made it feel a lot better. But that was it for day 1. Day 2 here at Species Gym in Katy. This is kind of close to the house. Definitely good for my accessory work and even my main sets if I can get a good spot here. Got my rear delt flies. This is definitely a step up from the banded rear delts you guys saw me doing in the home gym for the deload. These definitely feel good. I could have gone well above 300 today on these, but I haven't done super heavy rear delts in a while, so I'm playing it safe. Got my T3 raises here. Very good shoulder mobility and recovery and maintenance exercise. This is 25 pounds. This is right about the upper limit that I would want to go on these. I could definitely go heavier, but then you start really doing some extra body English. It really starts aching the shoulders too much. And I'm feeling pain versus a good burn. And that's where I draw the line, especially with shoulders. A good burn is good and no big deal. All right, so I will tell you a little bit more, like I said, but leading up into this, I was hesitant to do any type of pressing movement this week. This is actually, I benched on Monday. This is on a Thursday. And so I had about 3 days or so of ice. And then the night before this, I started doing a little bit of heat and stretch, just a little bit of stretch and some light massage just to kind of feel things out. It wasn't feeling, I wouldn't say 100%, but it was about 95% going into this workout. So I took my bench block here and I was saying, if everything feels good at the end of the workout, I'll go ahead and try 225 and just kind of work up. This is my second set here, and being very cautious. I've got the safety pins set up, so if I need to bail. But as you can see, I hit a little second gear there, and it starts to feel really good. This was kind of the testing ground to let me know how everything feels, and going ahead and feeling it and giving you guys the okay. So we are 100%. This is really good news. I am always very cautious about the pecs, triceps, anything that's moving, any of the main movers for bench, because you're one injury away from being out for a while, and that is the last thing we need. But it can happen. It can happen real quick. Got some more back here. This is a little bit lighter on my back day. This is just getting some volume in. This stack feels probably about 200 pounds, even though it says 140. So I'm just kind of going off a feel on that. Same thing with the triceps. It says 85. This is a different pulley system. It probably feels more like 180 or so. And this is more just blood flow again, doing several sets of this and really just getting a good squeeze at the bottom. This is, like I said, my volume day. I'm not working on really breaking down the muscle as much. And I'm also still playing the recovery game from the 605. It does take a little bit out of you, even though it felt really, really good. It's as heavy as I've been in a while. It's definitely a big jump from the previous weeks. And so it does take a toll on the body, and it's something I need to stay conscientious about. And just my recovery is very, very important because it will set me up for next week's successes. And that is really the goal here. It's not what can I do in the gym this week. It's more of what can I prepare myself to not only smash this week, but allow myself to continue on next week, because 605 for 2 is not the goal. 700 plus is the goal. And so we're doing everything for a purpose, for a reason. And this is me showing this to you guys. Seated rows here. This is my last heavy set. Really, really getting a good stretch. This feels really, really good on the back. And, just kind of making sure that I am working all the angles. I got my lat pull downs. I got my rear delts. I've got my back with all the different angles. The one thing that is not, that we haven't been doing a lot of lately is the seal rows. But I'm definitely compensating for when I'm missing out on those with these other exercises. Working a little bit of bicep here. I don't do a lot of biceps, as you guys see. So this is more or less just to make sure that the biceps are there. Don't forget about them. I want to make sure that they're as strong as the triceps are. And I get a lot of bicep work indirectly while doing all the other stuff that I'm doing in the gym. And they're not a main mover on the bench, so they're definitely not something I just focus in on. And aesthetic wise, it's not really my big concern. I've got my cable Y raises here, really working at the shoulders. This is pretty light. It's 20 and 20, so nothing crazy, but it's definitely a great finisher for the week. Definitely feeling very, very good. Very, very excited for next week. And, I'm just excited that I was able to perform as well as I was last week. And the light strain that I got in the pec, I'm not really sure which rep it was on. I know on the first set of bench, I hit a little bit high on the chest. Basically, instead of hitting right in here, I hit higher, which puts a little bit of extra strain up here and on the shoulders. And when I correct or try to correct it during the lift, it can put some extra strain on different things. And then going for a third rep, probably just a mixture of those things, and then coming back and adding, instead of just hitting 605 for a double, and it was actually technically 4.5 reps for the whole day. So I added like double the volume in, which put a little more stress on everything. And then knowing how it felt is the biggest takeaway from this that I want you guys to learn, is that this happens probably once a training cycle, and it's one pec or the other. It's normally something where it's just a light pull or a light stretch, and it could be just something as those fibers, one of them just fires a wrong way or it gets twisted, or hopefully it's not this major, but one of those is got a slight strain or slight mild tear, and that obviously is not a good thing. You don't want to keep stressing that and keep working that, because it's just going to make it worse. The only way to make it better is to rest it and to let it heal. And so that's exactly the mindset that I took as soon as I knew on the flies that was just not feeling okay. I felt like it was just something wasn't firing correctly. And that's when I said, okay, from this point forward, I'm going to start icing. So as soon as I got home, I actually iced for about 20 minutes, put a big old ice pack on, and I just have ice from my freezer, put it in a Ziploc bag, and just put it on there for 20, 30 minutes, sometimes even longer. I just don't want to get frostbite. And I leave it on there until it basically gets numb, take it off, and let it warm up naturally. And then I'll probably do that 2 to 3 times a day. And luckily, I'm working from home now, so I can do that quite a bit. If you got a job that you're able to, I don't know if you're on the road and you can stop by and get a fountain drink and just get an extra cup of ice, use that and just actually put ice on it if you can. I mean, any way you can get ice on a strain is definitely going to help you. I know there's a lot of studies and things like that say don't use ice and you shouldn't do this. I am going to go straight in the face of most of that and say that I have been able to use ice very, very successfully to heal up injuries. Now, there is a way to use it and a way not to use it. If you sit there and abuse it or use it too much, obviously it can be a bad thing, as with anything. But my protocol for all strains, no matter where it's at, unless it's like my lower back, typically my lower back I keep ice off of, but I'll ice it for about 20 to 30 minutes a day, 3 times a day. And then about the 3rd or 4th day, whenever it starts to not hurt so much, it's definitely going to be tight, and that's okay because everything is healing up and I don't want to be moving it a lot. By the 3rd day, which for me happened to be the day before my next heavy, or not next heavy, but my next bench day, I had it in my mind that I probably was not going to be doing any type of bench, and I wasn't going to be doing any type of flies or any pec work. But I did want to at least see how the bar felt, how 135 felt, and kind of move up. And if it was there, go ahead and take it and just move on. If it wasn't there, cut my losses. And if it was the end of the world, what I would have done is if it would not have felt good on my second bench day this week, I would have just rested it. And if it wouldn't have felt good by, let's say now, like tomorrow is actually my next heavy bench day. If my pec didn't feel 100% right now, I repeat, I would not bench heavy tomorrow for the next week. I would rest it until I felt like this was 100%. Here's the reason why. Let's say it wasn't 100% and I go in and try 620 and 620 ends up hurting me worse. Now, let's say it's not an injury where it's so severe that it tears something, but it makes it worse. Well, what am I going to do next week? Can I go heavier next week? Because the progress to get heavier for 700 to be on July 25th is to go heavier every single week. And if you get injured, you cannot go heavier unless you're asking for an injury. So the best way to handle that is to take the safer road, is to just skip the day and try to make the best of the next time you're able to bench or work out. And if it doesn't add up to you being able to be your best on meet day, then it just doesn't add up and you don't push the issue. That's how you live to fight another day. But this case, very, very lucky. A lot of things at play here. Definitely just wasn't anything major, but started heating it, started massaging it. And then the next day I was able to come in and I could feel it. It was a little tight, but I got through. And once I started moving it and getting the blood flow going, I knew that I was clicking and firing on all cylinders. And that's what really made me excited to really gear up for the next week. And I'm actually taking an additional day rest as a precaution, just so that I'm not, and actually today is Monday, so I would have normally benched today, and that was actually the plan, to bench today. I'm not benching today, obviously, but I will be benching tomorrow, and I'm very, very excited, very, very thrilled to have 620 on the bar, actually. 620 for 2 is the planned lift for tomorrow's bench day. So just giving you guys a little a spoiler alert for the next recap. It won't be a PR attempt, but it definitely will set the tone for the next few weeks going forward. But that is it for the video recaps this week. And I didn't want to skip over any of the injury protocols that I do, because I really think a lot of you guys have faced injuries, you've had strains, and you've probably had questions about what to do. And I hope, and I don't have all the answers, but I hope that my approach will at least help give you some direction and some guidance versus some bonehead on Instagram who says lift heavy all the time, because that's not going to get you anywhere. It will not get you to where you want to be ultimately. It might get you to where you want to be tomorrow, and it might make you feel good. You might look good in front of your friends, to be able to do something. But when you go home at night and you feel like, man, I had to put every single thing on the line and I'm supposed to go heavier next week, I don't think I can do that because I'm hurt. Then your ego's going to be hurt one way or the other. So you might as well be, swallow your pride and focus on the goal long term. But I do want to continue my Q&A segment. So if you guys have questions for me, I want to pick that back up. I didn't see anything that was pressing this week, and plus I didn't want to take too long on the video just because I wanted to cover what I do for strains. I think that's very, very important. I covered a whole recovery video on it. I think that in itself would keep people in the strength game and in the sports field a lot longer if they just prevent injuries or knew how to take care of themselves versus just going in balls to the wall all the time. But next week I'm going to have a whole new recap for you guys. Really excited. 620 for 2 is on the bar. Feeling really, really good. My weight's holding right around 285, which gives me plenty of room to eat. And I've been eating like crazy. I've literally been eating about 8,500 calories a day. So I feel like I'm getting bigger. I'm swelling up. I'm holding more water, which is definitely a good thing because I feel very, very energetic. Mentally, I feel good. I'm not doing super heavy squats or deadlifts, and actually those are back down quite a bit. Deadlifts are like in the 500s right now just for reps. And my squats, we did 405 for reps this week. So I didn't even burn. I really didn't break a sweat on my leg day, which conserves a lot of energy for my next bench day. So very, very exciting times. I like to share this with you guys. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel and you like this video, you like this format and everything like that, definitely let me know in the comments. Please subscribe if you like it. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you guys are on Instagram, I definitely hang out over there a lot. I post a lot of my daily stuff, what I'm eating, and just different family photos and things like that you may not see over here on YouTube. But you're more than welcome to go over there and follow me. I would appreciate that. And I answer DMs all the time. So if you guys have a personal question you want to ask me and you maybe don't want it aired over here on YouTube and you don't want to ask me publicly, I can definitely answer that way. But I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. Really appreciate all the subscribers. Really help to grow the channel and really reach out to more people. I really think that I've got a unique way of looking at not only my own training, but just training in general. And I want to share that with you guys. But definitely tune in for next week's 83 recap. I know these numbers are getting high and some of you like to make fun of me for that. But here's the thing. When I finally hit 705, it is going to be a freaking party. And all of these weeks are going to come to a head. And I hope that that actually motivates half the world that's out there that's wanting to give up on week 20 or week 30 or whatever to not give up and actually keep pursuing their goals. Because honestly, the goal of 705 is great, but the journey that I'm actually going through is part of life. I love it. So this is, even if I never hit 705, I'm okay with that. Like, I definitely want to hit big numbers, but at some point I'm going to set a goal that I'm not going to be able to hit. And whether it be 705, whether it be 725, 750, 800, a 2,500 total, whatever it's going to be, that's the whole point of training, is to set the bar so high that eventually you just can't get to that point, because numbers are infinite. So I don't care who you are, how strong you are, there's going to be a point where you can't get to. But if you're not having fun on the journey, what's the point? So anyways, I've had you guys here long enough. Really, really, I appreciate you guys, and tune in next week for week 83. See ya.